Hi and welcome to this InteractML tutorial on how to record training data and train and run your machine learning system from inside your VR headset using the radial menu. Here I'm going to be using an example which has the left-hand controller as a game object that's being tracked. I'm taking the rotation and I'm using a dynamic time warping machine learning algorithm. So first I'm going to show you the input setup node. That's where you decide what is going to be controlling these, what is happening when you're in the radial menu. So with my training data, I've got that set to my left hand, and I'm going to saying that delete all is the secondary button, and sorry about the noise if you can hear that, and record one, which we won't be using in this graph because dynamic time warping doesn't use record one. That's only for classification and regression. And toggle record, which we will be using, I've got set to grip hold. Now for the machine learning system, I'm using the right hand controller, and to train I'm using the trigger up, and to toggle run I'm going to be gripping using the grip and hold, but on the right hand controller this time. Now, before I go in, I want to set what my class is going to be. I'm going to delete all the training examples that I have already, and I'm going to say I'm going to have this class as labeled as 1. So now I'm going to go into my headset. And whilst I'm inside, I can see on my right hand controller I've got this red kind of laser, which is what I'm going to select my InteractML object. Here's my InteractML object. I'm going to select it, and when I select it, it will get a blue ring around it, so I know that it's selected. Then my radial menu will open, and to train examples, I'll go left to train, and then I can select which training example that I want to use. I've only got one training example here because I've only got one training example or teach the machine node in my graph. So I can select that one here. If it's not recording, it says not recording in the center of my hand and of my radial menu, and here it will be grey. But if I start recording and I do a motion, so I'm just going to go up and down. So I will start recording at the beginning of my movement. It will go green, but the object, and it will say recording, and then at the end of my movement I'm going to stop. It says not recording, and the object also is gone back to the other colour. Now if I want to add another class, I'll go back out of my headset, back to the graph, and I'm going to change the label. So I'm going to, whereas that class was trained on 0, I'm going to now train this class on 1. So I'm going to go back in the headset, and this time I'm going to go from left to right. So at the beginning of my movement, I'll start recording, and then at the end of my movement, I'll stop recording. So now if I look into my graph, I've got 2 examples recorded. And I can now train my model. So inside the headset, I go to exit, so I go back to the main menu. Now I can go to run, and we can see that it is trained because it's gone blue. So I clicked the train button for it to go blue. Now, if I want to run, I'm looking at the blue circle, and when it goes purple, I'll know that it's running. So I'm going to try my up and down one. So I'm going to pull the right grip, which is what I used as my run button. And now I can see it's working because the circle has gone purple. And so that is a little example. At the moment it's not completely working because the middle isn't showing you what the output is. But if you look at the graph, when I do this movement, it will be outputting 0. And if I do this movement, it should output 1. And yeah, that's working. Just the middle of the radial menu isn't working, which I will fix and then push for you. Thank you for joining the tutorial.